Hi, and welcome back to Armchair Pundits. As usual, you got myself, James, you got Leon, you got Daryl. I know you guys having a great day, so hopefully your week has been better, apart from you, Daryl. Um, let's kick it off. No point waiting.
Bro. Embarrassing. An embarrassment to the club, to the fans, to their families. Just unbelievable. Five goals in the first 20 minutes is unbelievable way to go down. And I think it just shows that Conte was right, as we've all said
Mm.
about these players. They don't have any bottle, don't have any fight, don't have any self-respect, integrity, just don't really know what they're about. And there's other things that we can factor into this, but no matter what, going 5-0 down after 20 minutes is absolutely unacceptable, regardless of whatever formation change, personnel, arguments that you can throw at the manager. The players go out there, and if you look at the application, especially how much space Newcastle had, how little pressure they had, when they were in possession, Spurs just allowed them to play football, and Newcastle didn't really have to do anything amazing. They had, every single chance that they got early on, they scored, and
Mm.
Tottenham didn't lay a glove on them. It's just I don't really know. I don't really know what else to say, but this team is done, and until there's major changes, I don't see anything getting better.
Well, embarrassing doesn't even strongly enough indicate that what happened today. Embarrassment, an embarrassment, and that that's too much of a nice word for them because that was absolutely disgusting, shambolic, unbelievable. Like you said, Leon, I'm lost for words. First time in the club history that we've been 5 goals. We've conceded 5 goals before halftime. Like that just goes to show. Like at a time where at the start of the season people were positive about what could happen under Conte and where we could go, we've come to this. You know, a game where everything is on the line for the top 4. You're playing against your direct rivals for that position, and within 20 minutes you're getting blown out of the park. It's unacceptable, to be honest with you, and there's not really much there's not really much we can even analyze and evaluate from that, apart from the fact that these are just simply spineless, and it's I feel sorry more for the fans than anyone. um I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't watching the game, and thankfully I wasn't. I had better things to do, should I say. um Commitments, family commitments. I was watching another game of football actually, but yeah, that was a better way for me to spend my time and my moment watching football today than watching that. I was getting pinged the notifications, and as I was seeing them, I was just after a while I just said I'm not even listening to notifications. I'm gonna just switch them off. There's no point even seeing what's happening. Like the 20 minutes and I'm seeing 5-0. Like I didn't want to hear nothing else after that, to be honest with you. And then, boy, you know what? This week, we're lucky we got a midweek game. Well, I don't even know if we're lucky we got a midweek game because it's against
I am
United.
United,
And
mate.
yeah, so, but it's like the banter, the trolling that's going to happen this week, bring it. It's deserved. Got no response for it. The alert message went out today, and the amount of Tottenham alert messages that I've seen has been hilarious. And you know what? It's deserved. I hope these players are getting these messages and seeing these things to understand what us fans are going through, because they really need to take a look at themselves. And I don't even, do you know what? I can't even say respond or anything, because right now, top 4 is done. Top 4 is done. James's prediction about Liverpool potentially finishing top 5. That's it. That's on now for you, James. It's on because at the moment we're an absolute sham. This club is an absolute turmoil at the moment. It's I don't even know what to say. Seriously, I'm lost. It's
Should
disgusting, really.
Stellini go now after a performance like that? Is there any point in him staying to the rest of the season?
What are you gonna do?
Nothing's going to change though. Nothing's going to
Exactly.
change no matter what you do now. Nothing's going to change. So just stick with it. No point employing someone else and paying someone else more money. Just stick with
It's
it.
not just the,
We're not
it's
gonna.
not just the
We
league
can't get
anyway.
relegated. We probably won't get Europe. So yeah, man, we'll just ride it out till the end of the season. 6 games left, and that's it. Really.
Before the game,
does Mason go as well? Because
I
he's
guess
involved.
someone must be speaking to somebody. I don't know. Maybe like you said, if they called Harry Redknapp in tomorrow, he would come the same day. He'll get in a car from Bournemouth or get a chauffeur and he'll be down at training grounds within hours. But I mean, at the beginning of the game, I thought, okay, he's actually changing it. He's going with a back four. Yes, Porro is naturally a wing back, and Perisic isn't a left back.
Therefore, you
I
can't
saw
play
Davies on the
back four with
bench.
those guys.
So is Davies come back from injury? Because I'm surprised that Davies didn't start.
He's not fit. It's his first game
Okay.
that he was on a bench back from injury, so he couldn't play. Emerson Royale's obviously injured as well. Jed Spence is on loan. So going with a back four, which a lot of people were crying for, like it's all well and good, but we couldn't defend with 5. So as I said with last week, going with 4, and it was always going to be a risk, and it backfired majorly. But again, it's not just about a 4 at the back; it's the application of the players on the pitch at the time, like lack of communication, lack of effort, lack of awareness, knowing where your players are. It was just an all round like there was no one in the back 4 and in the midfield who can hold their hand up and be like, yeah, I did my thing today, did their job. They didn't, because Newcastle.
I felt sorry for Saul. It's like he got thrown into the wolves, bro. Like to cover a back line that didn't know what they're doing. He's looking over his shoulder left to right, and it's like, where is the defense?
Bro,
so it was almost like a mercy. It was like a mercy taking him off.
Look, Conte already said this season, when people are questioning about the formation and switching to 4 at the back, he said the players that we got, it is not possible. And everything he said has been spot on. And that today showed 4 at the back don't work. Like Leon says, we can't even defend with 5 at the back. So it didn't make sense playing 4 at the back with players that are playing in not natural positions in fullback. Look, man, just like Leon said, just ride out to the end of the season, and that's it, really. Like, for me, the season's done now for me. Simple as that, really. Like, I don't care what anyone says. You can say, "I'll try and be optimistic." It's still mathematically possible and stuff like that. But that performance there was a defining season performance. If you go into that game and you turn up and you show up against a team that you're battling for, then fair enough. If we went down fighting, fair enough. But we turn up and we got slayed, absolutely demolished within 20 minutes. That's unexcusable.
And you've got Brighton 4 points behind with 3 games in hand. So it is looking.
All of you lot behind us can overtake us right now.
I'll be honest with you. I could see Liverpool, I could see Aston Villa, I could see Brighton all finishing above us. Seriously. Like, we've got to play Villa, we've got to play Liverpool,
and United next.
And we've got United next. So, it would be so funny. It would be just so Spurs like to end up in the Conference League. That would be so typical. I'd rather not have Europe next season. If it ain't Europa League, because Champions League's done for me. If it ain't Europa League, I don't want to be in Europe. Seriously.
That's what I said, isn't it? That's what I said. I hear that.
There's no point. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, sure. Let's move on.
So we had a better, more frustrating, or not more frustrating, a frustrating game but in the end, we got the win. I mean, set pieces. Well, not even set pieces, throw-ins. All five goals were set pieces, but I just don't know how we couldn't handle the throw-ins. It just,
That throw-in's peak though, bro. That throw-in's mad.
Bro, you're
Like,
going on
it's just
like
mad.
throw-ins haven't had caused problems for many, many years, bro.
I know, but it's just like, come on, man.
bro,
Everyone, the thing is, it was funny. They got
his throw-ins are mad, bro. It's not even like the lap
Like,
in the old days. Like, there's no run-up, there's no nothing. It's just pure power throw. Like that. Like, if you can
I
stand at
don't
one
mind
place
that.
and
Yeah.
power throw a ball, that means you can put that ball more or less anywhere you want because you're not running up and trying to get the momentum and you know what I mean. You basically can throw that ball in wherever you want with whatever power you want. It's mad.
and
It's the second balls. It's
to add to
the
that,
second, third, and fourth balls, bro. That's what
it
bothers
is
me.
the second, third, and fourth balls. But you got to remember that you can't really train for someone that can throw like that because unless you have someone in your midst that can do that, there's no other way to replicate it. You can't use a machine. You can't use someone kicking the ball in the air because it's a completely different trajectory. So you can't practice in the way that you need to. That's why when Stoke were doing it, it was so effective, and now Nottingham Forest are able to do the same thing.
Yeah, it's mad.
I'm just happy. I'm happy you got out there.
You got the 3 points,
first
bro.
half.
That's the main thing.
Yeah, there was a lot of cussing of Jota. Jota was getting cussed left, right, and centre in groups, and it's almost like people forgot
before the game or during the game.
In the first half.
Oh.
It's almost like people forgot what Jota is. Jota isn't a silky footballer. Jota is a guy that gets you goals. He gets you goals that other players in your team don't get. Like when he's confident, he'll make assists, but he's not going to look slick with it.
He's a bagsman.
He's going to get bobbly goals. He's going to get headers. He's going to get like fickles like he did in the game yesterday. So you got people saying that if we I'm happy to take 25, 35 million for him in the summer.
Hey?
Why?
Bro,
you got fans. You got fans that were happy. This is before the Leeds game because he hadn't scored for a year. Just like get rid of him. He's injury prone. I get the injury prone business. I think I said it last week. I get the injury prone business, but someone like Jota, you keep. And you manage his minutes.
That's 4 goals in 2 games.
That's what he does, though. Once he starts scoring, he'll go on a run. Like, I won't be surprised if he scores in more or less every game to the end of the season.
And it could have been a hat trick yesterday for him as well. Like you lot had chances. You lot had chances.
Yeah, we did.
And I know that's been a problem this season where you haven't taken your chances. And again, it could have been one of those games where you could have looked back on it and said, "Oh, you know, we've dropped points and you know we've missed chances." But you got the 3 points, you got the win, and in hindsight, that's all you needed to do. You needed to get revenge, and you beat them.
Yeah.
Realistically, you deserve to win. If you had taken
100%.
Your chances, it could have been a scoreline like us today. Let's be honest.
I'm happy.
9 minutes, not 20.
I'm happy Salah got his goal. I'm happy Jota got his goals. Seeing Diaz come back looking good again. Obviously, he's not getting a goal, but that doesn't worry me right now. I just want to see him get through minutes and get through them healthily. Because next season, if we can get all these, will be 5, unless we buy a striker. We get these guys ready for the start of next season, and with the new additions, hopeful of midfielders coming in, then I'm looking for next season now. Because like I said, 4th is not happening. 5th is the best we can get, and Brighton have got 2 games on hand on us as well. We're only 1 point ahead of them, so there's no guarantee we can even get that. But it just felt good to actually have a week where we actually won games, man. As crazy as it sounds, for us over the last few years, it's just been standard. But now, like, why have West Ham come into form? Like, we've got West Ham away coming up on Wednesday, and all of a sudden West Ham are banging goals in. So that's going to be interesting. And the next few games after that, and no walk in the park either. So we won the game. Trent looked good again. Although what was interesting is that they man-marked all 4 centre midfielders. That's how Forest tried to nullify us. And thank God that I think Van Dijk has been saying they've been working on set pieces quite a lot over the last few weeks because we're really down on what we were before. It was always something we got in every game. We got it's almost like we felt like we got a set piece goal every game back over the last couple of years, and this season went away from it completely. It felt so. Hopefully that continues because West Ham will be tough, but sitting in seventh, I think we were fifth. I think we were sixth at one point, and Aston Villa. So Brentford goal got disallowed, and then we're back to sixth. But it's all good. It's all good. Let's just finish the season on a high, and I'll be happy. So that said, we'll move on to the game that started the weekend. The game that started with the talk, where Arsenal almost threw it away completely. I mean, when I was watching that game and they went 2-0 down early, I was like, what am I seeing? It was almost like your game. And then it was like
no comparison, really.
I mean, how it started. Southampton were bottom of the table. I was like, damn. Southampton are 2-0 up. Arsenal really bottling this thing. But credit to them. I'm not sure where the 8 minutes came from. Well, it's always been 8 minutes. I'm not sure where the 10 minutes came from. A lot of people saying that they were cramping here and there. Those 10 minutes felt like I was in Qatar again, bro, watching the World Cup. Because that referee gave every minute in that second half. But credit to Arsenal, they showed fight because it doesn't make much more of a difference. Because
it doesn't really make any. They still got to win all of their games.
But it's a confidence factor. I think if they had not come back, then they would have been down. Now they're sitting there thinking, you know what, we still came back and we could have won it. We could have won it. So it's just one of those games.
That's exactly what I've been saying, James. I've been saying that to a lot of Arsenal fans that have been so downbeat. We've thrown away the title. Can't believe we're doing this. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, but you haven't lost. You know, in the previous two games, you've lost 2-goal leads
from being in the lead.
From being in the lead, but you still held on. And you still, managed to get that point, which has been enough. This game, they managed to come back and actually save a point. And with those 10 minutes, nearly take all 3 points. But the fact that you didn't lose, that doesn't hurt the team as much. Losing would have hurt. You know what I mean? Especially after the two previous results, you then have that situation. You play bottom of the league and then you lose. Yeah, that's going to have an impact. But you've come back and you saved the game in the last minutes. You've saved the game. To now you can say, all right, cool. We saved the game. We know what we have to do now. It's still in our hands. And what better time to say, all right, let's do it. Let's sort this out and go and play City. And put it fully back into our hands again. So I don't know why the doom and gloom from Arsenal fans. Look, they're having a good season.
Listen, I know why. Because let's be honest, they don't think they're going to win there. Most of them think they're going to get a draw, and they're hoping to get a draw. Not they're going to get a draw. They're hoping to get a draw. So when you're dropping 6 points from 3 games, that 2 of them are winnable. Going to Anfield is different, but 2 of them, all of them would have said, yeah, that's 6 points right there. So now it's like, how do we go to the Etihad where we don't win ever in this Pep era?
This is football.
How are we going to go there?
Strange things happen, bro. So it's different.
I can't see it though.
But if you go into that game where it's not in your hands no more, it's completely different. Whereas it's still in your hands, so you can rectify that. You can prove your title credentials by now going to play City and doing what you have to do. I know they're going to have to effectively go and win, but even if you go there and you get a draw,
but City can afford a draw now, though.
I know.
It's only 5 points. But it's 5 points now.
This is everyone presuming that City's going to win every single game to the end of the season. Like,
no, but what I go back to
as well.
Yeah, but what I go back to is what Leon said before, and I didn't really concentrate on it properly. Like, they've got Man City, Chelsea, Newcastle, then Brighton. That's the next 4 games, bro. That's peak. Like, Chelsea, it's at home, so I expect them to beat Lampard. But let's be honest, Newcastle and Brighton, that's no walk in the park after that.
True.
So I look at City's fixtures. Arsenal should and probably will drop more points than City will with the run of fixtures, regardless of the Champions League games. It's only 2 games, and those 2 games, I think, when I looked at it, they don't fall directly in between a big game. I think one of the games they can rest certain players for. It's not a tough fixture. So I don't know. I just feel like their chance has probably gone. We won't know until Wednesday. But if they don't win on Wednesday, I think their chance is gone. Personally, but
Yeah.
like you said, it's football. It's football. Anything can happen. But if they don't win, then they go into Chelsea, and Chelsea could have got a win by then, and they're looking a bit better. So you never know. It's unlikely the way they've been playing, but you never know. You never know. But Arsenal didn't lose. It was a good game, great game to watch on a Friday night.
Yeah, great game for a
So,
Friday, definitely. Look, I ain't gonna
so
lie. If they don't get if they don't get it done, I ain't gonna cry for them. But right
yeah,
now, right now, like them, like as much as Tottenham fans might say, "Oh, don't want them to win the title, support City, this and the other," them winning the title for me ain't gonna have an impact on my feelings because at the moment,
they've done it. They've
like
done it before in your era.
we got to concentrate on our club
Well, yeah.
and where we're
Mm.
at. Simple as that, because we're in dire straits at the moment, boy. So I'm not gonna cry for them. They've had a good season. I don't see why these Arsenal fans are out here, you know, feeling sorry for themselves, thinking that the title's over already when it's not. And they could come to me and say the same thing about top four, but realistically, it's in your hands. So go out there, put out the performances that you need to prove that you're champions, and that starts on you know in midweek
What was
against
it?
City. So
Mm.
that's going to be a good game. Let's see what they got.
Okay, so we move on because, like I mentioned earlier, Brentford Aston Villa played out a draw. Another good game where Brentford missed a hatful of chances.
Oh, just
I
too many
mean,
chances, boy. It's becoming a thing with them now. Actually, they're starting to
mm,
miss a lot of chances. They're becoming a draw specialist. Tony's still scoring the goals, so it's not like
19, I think he's got now.
it's not like they're lacking the, the person up there to put them away, but they're just missing some clear chances to just put games away. And I don't know what it is, whether it's a mentality thing or they need that next level of talent to
That's
start
it.
securing
Possibly,
the points.
That's it.
possibly,
Huh?
That's
yeah.
it. That's it. What it is.
That's what they
That's
need.
exactly what it is,
Yeah.
bro. That's exactly what it is. Now they've managed to stave off second season syndrome, which happens a lot. They've
Mm,
managed to battle through that, and they're comfortable mid table. So for them, they've now got to buy the next level of player if they can obviously go into the transfer market and find some gems. I mean, Mbumo and Wissa are not they're not bad. They're not bad, but
no,
if
Wiz
Tony
is a
has
bench player
someone
at most.
of one, exactly, both of them are really like Mbumo's hit and miss. There's times where he looks really, really good, and there's other times where you just like, what are you doing, mate? So, buying if they're able to go in the transfer market, they haven't been able to find too many gems that they didn't have already. So like Damsgaard, I'm surprised he didn't really settle in very well considering
Mm.
the hype surrounding him. He hasn't really done much, so they've gone with a lot of the guys that
He's had a lot of
he's
injuries though
had.
this season. To be fair,
Yeah, true, but
I, th- I think
but no,
I think if Ericsson's there this season, a
different
lot
team.
they would have a lot more wins than they do. They'd probably
Mm.
be in European contention, like battling top top 5, 6, 7, something like that. Because that like you said, that next level of ability and of talent, they have, like you said, they haven't really had that this season because they've just gone with what more or less what they've had already. And
Mm.
the second season up, maybe they'll open up the purse strings and recruit. They're happy with their manager. He's going to be staying.
Yeah, yeah.
Hopefully he's all this nonsense linking him to us stops as well because I'm not interested. Um, but I know a few Brentford fans out there that don't like him. But you
Is it?
know, yeah, there's a few that
They
don't.
play too direct.
Yeah, they say that a lot of it they don't believe he knows fully what he's doing, but
Oh wow,
the results on the pitch,
sure. Otherwise,
have shown otherwise.
mm.
I don't know if at the start of the season people are having you as relegation candidates and you've cruised through that easily, I don't see what he's doing too wrong, to be honest with you. But each to their own.
Mm. Okay. Well, Aston Villa, it was a bit surprised, to be fair, how lackluster they looked. They didn't get their equaliser till 2 minutes before the end, and I don't know. I brought in two Villa players, brought in Mings, brought in Ramsey to help bolster my fantasy team, and I shouldn't have bothered. Took a -4 hit and got 4 points for the pair of them. So it's a waste of time, man. But it's I don't know. I went in that game thinking they're probably going to win this. The form they're on, I just thought they were going to win. So it's probably just a bump in the road for them. They'll
The Brighton,
probably recover.
Brighton at
But
home.
it's a draw. A draw is still a good result for away to Brentford.
Yeah,
In all honesty,
Brentford at home are a decent team though. At home,
yeah.
they're making that new stadium into a bit of a fortress. It's
Mm.
not too bad. They get the results against the teams they should do at home most of the time, more or not. So like you said, recovering a point um, away from home, keeping that run going. It's not bad. They didn't lose, so
Yeah.
they're still going to march on Villa to possibly fight for Europe.
Okay. Okay. So we'll move on. Fulham Leeds. Um, First half was a bit dull. Second half it kicked off a bit better. Wilson with a good volley,
No, he's doing his
and
thing, this boy, isn't he?
he is
Since he's come
Pereira.
in,
Both
yeah.
goals. Yeah, both goals really. Medley's fault. He's had a really bad season. He's one of those wide. He reminds me of David De Gea. He makes fantastic saves, like a young David De Gea. Makes fantastic saves, but sometimes he looks like the shirt's too big for him,
Ain't that the
and he gets bullied around.
same as now for De Gea? He still has his
Yeah, yeah,
moments.
I guess yeah. He still has his
Um,
moments.
yeah, Meslier is a good shot stopper, but again, decision making. It's about decision making, and
Yeah, it's bad
when you're in
decision making.
certain situations as a goalkeeper, you don't really have the luxury, because if you make a mistake, it's a goal. Let's be honest.
Hmm.
And a lot of times, that's often what happens with him, dwelling on the ball too long, or just a bad clearance, bad pass, not carrying the ball in the right places. He's had a collection of different types of errors. So for Fulham, good response after they had a little bad patch after the whole Man United FA Cup debacle, but they've recovered now,
Hmm
2 wins on the bounce, and good wins as well. Because as much as, I mean, this league is kind of crazy, because everyone is capable of being everyone. We always say it all the time, but this season in particular has just thrown up so many random results. And Fulham have continued. They're safe, and they. I think it's the odds are against them to qualify for Europe, but in terms of application and responding to losing their talisman, and their coach obviously got banned for one of the games as well. They've done really, 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 really well, and it'd be
Yeah,
interesting to see what happens in the summer with them.
their performances in a lot of games have been very strong team performances, battling, working for each other. It's been interesting to see.
You think?
Uh, God,
Sorry, no, I was going to say, I remember we were saying the same thing about them in that first game against Liverpool, and they've literally continued that the whole season, pretty much.
mm,
Yeah, don't remind me. That game was the start of everything that went wrong for the season. That they showed everyone what the template was for our season. But Leeds, I don't know. They look doomed. They just
yeah, you just don't
it
know what
hasn't
to make
worked.
of them. No, it hasn't. It's a shame as well because sometimes they play such good football and they've got
They
some
created
real
loads
talented
of
players in
chances.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
But
you
you
know
say
what?
they're doomed,
Yeah,
but they're out of the relegation zone, bro.
I know they're out, but no, it just looks like they're going to
Bro,
lose all the time,
but you
though.
can say that about Leicester, you can say it
Yeah,
about
all
Everton,
I
you can say
know,
about the
I
Forest.
know.
They all look doomed because They
I
have
know.
these really bad games, and then all of a sudden they'll get a win out of nowhere, and you're like, oh well, you never know now because it's tight. So who knows, man? We'll see.
Nah,
It's
it's
it's the
true. It's
games
true.
against each other that's going to prove to be the decider. You know that already.
Yeah. Well, Leicester beating Wolves 2-1 was big for them.
Hmm.
I mean, it was a brave one because manager comes in and he plays Vardy, Daka, Iheanacho, and Tete.
Yeah, it was
Went for all four of them.
yeah, it was
Four two
crazy. I was
four.
like, when I saw it, I was like, wow, okay, you're playing
All of them.
three out and out strikers. I was like,
Yeah. And a
okay.
winger though, and a straight up winger. Tete's a
And
straight up
straight
winger,
out, yeah,
so,
yeah. But like, it's the fact that
so
he has three, STs, three strikers. Like, there's no two words about it. They're all like strikers. But
Iheanacho can play 10 a bit, but he
they
wouldn't
can't
say
a
he's a
bit.
10.
Nah,
He can,
exactly.
and he did a good job at it. To be honest with you, though, he floated
Mm.
around really well in that game, and I think he made the difference. He made a
Yeah,
difference for them because he has those games where he looks good, and you think this is why Man City wanted him, and he has those
yeah,
games where you're like, this is why Man City sold him.
yeah. It's true.
so, so credit to them. I mean, Wolves aren't great away from home, but you just thought with them taking the lead, it was like, oh man, Leicester are just
Yeah,
I think
trouble.
they were bottom of the league at the time, or second bottom, and you thought, yeah, it's done.
That could be
But
a timely boost for them. I have to say that result there could be a real confidence booster for them. And as much as as much as he started all those forward players, the winner came from a
mm,
defender. So
I know. What was he?
it's crazy.
I know why he was there, but it's like, why was he there? But
He
it
gets
was
forward,
good
man.
play.
He bombs forward all the
Yeah,
time,
he
so I'm not
does. Yeah,
Yeah.
surprised.
But Wolves being Wolves, not much different there. Couldn't really expect much. I said they're poor away from home. So we'll move on. Um, move on to which game was it?
West Ham, you might as well say,
West
because
Ham.
Crystal Palace
Yeah, West
Everton
Ham.
was a
Yeah,
dull 0-0.
drab.
Back
0-0.
to the real Roy Hodgson team.
Yeah.
Normal service resumes.
do you know, I don't know who that point was better for. I'll be honest with you. Everton
Well,
were away
Palace are
from
safe
home.
now. Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
it's
Yeah,
good
they
for
are.
Everton, but not good because really
yeah,
they need points, not draws.
They bottom three in it, Everton. So
yeah.
Mm.
There's away from home against the Palace that were free flowing, scoring goals and stuff like that, and then it ends up being a 0-0, and you get a point away from
if,
home. I don't think it
to
was
be
that
fair,
bad for Everton.
they were down to
Mm.
10 men, so it was a good point for Everton.
That's true.
It
Yeah,
was a
that is
good
true.
point, down to 10 men as well. So it was a good point for them. So well, we weren't going to talk about them, but we did. So not much to say. Not much to say. So so
Keep it
the last
moving.
game, like I said, why are West Ham coming into form just before we play them away from home? Our record at that ground is not the greatest over the last couple of seasons. Antonio, Paquetá, Rice, and 4-0 with a scorpion kick. Like, come on.
Uh,
Bournemouth's home record has been good as well, so I was shocked that they got hammered 4-0.
you saying that's a full scorpion, yeah?
It wasn't the greatest. I
No,
mean,
it was
it wasn't as good
tough for the
as
tough,
it
mate.
was. They're calling it
But
a scorpion, isn't it? But
I
it
wouldn't
wasn't
say
as good as Giroud's goal.
I would say it was a good improvised goal. As for a scorpion kick, I don't think so
That's
somehow. But okay,
that's how it was when I saw it on the TV, on the computer, innit?
okay. But to be honest with you, I don't know what Bournemouth was playing at. Like that was a real poor performance by them. West Ham like had it easy their way. You wouldn't even normally they struggle after European games, but they were playing football. They were like, to be honest with you, like, they're throwing in crosses for fun, and Bournemouth just didn't seem to be picking up any players, boy. So, um, but it was a poor performance by Bournemouth, and West Ham just were efficient, got the job done, and that for them as well. Like after a good result midweek, going through to semi-finals, they've also now picked up 3 points on the weekend, and with the way other results have gone, they can start thinking, yeah, like we can more or less get safe if we
Yeah,
continue
they're on
this kind of
34
form.
points.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I don't know. We all thought anyway with who they've got in charge. I've even heard rumors that he might not be there next season, which would be very strange for him to leave.
Well, I
I
don't
don't know where he
understand.
goes.
People don't understand it. It's hard to juggle Europe and the league.
Mm,
Like it takes, not even just players and squad wise, even as a manager and getting prepared for European matches and getting prepared for Premier League matches and the time you've got in between. Elite managers find that hard. So
mm.
you know,
I think they're more concerned his signings didn't work. The guys he bought to take them to the next level. Because to be fair, they were in Europe last year. They got to semi-finals of the Europa League last year, and still managed to qualify for Europe again in the seventh. So they're in a lesser competition this year, and actually doing worse in the league. And the signings he bought to take them forward,
were they his
Agard missed the
signings?
first half of the season.
Were they his
I
signings,
assume
though?
so. Yeah, it's Moyes. Moyes is the kind of guy I don't see guys coming in there that he doesn't sign off. He's not. He's not the kind of guy that's going to take that.
There,
In
there's
all
there's
honesty.
there's signing off players, and then there's players that you want the club to go and get, and I'm not sure. At,
No, but look
of
at Agard's a good centre back.
yeah,
Scamacca was doing Scamacca was doing really well in Italy, doing really well, and they weren't the only team after him. It was his
Italian
first.
strikers in the Prem
Yeah, I
make
know,
more
Taylor.
saves in the
but
Prem.
So
Zola and
I think
Viali and
I did,
flipping Di Matteo, but there hasn't been a lot of.
Balotelli did it right. Balotelli did it right,
But
despite his troubles.
Balotelli's hit and miss everywhere, man. You know
Yeah,
that he's got the ability, but he just turns up when he wants to play, man. But no, it's not always been a good transition for him. So I'm not surprised that he didn't do too much
Paquetá,
so far.
he's done okay. He hasn't been. No, I don't think. I think with Paquetá, no
I
one knew
think
what to
he's
expect. I think people thought he was more creative than he actually is.
mm,
So people are shocked to see he's more rugged and he gets into challenges
he's
and
more of
he
a
works more.
central midfielder
Yeah,
than a creative midfielder.
and I think that's what shocked people. They
Mm,
expected because obviously they already had Suchek and Rice. They thought, yeah, that's our centre midfielders. Now we're bringing Paquetá as a Brazilian guy to be a better Lanzini, so to speak. But he's not that.
no, it's not that.
Which is
No,
why I wanted him. I thought for us he'd be doing what he's doing for them, and I thought he'd be
yeah.
a good foil to get rid of or to push aside Hendo. But you'll see. At the end of the day, they're gonna survive. If he does leave, I'll be very surprised. But I did hear talk of the grapevine that there's no guarantee he'll be there next season. That'll be his own choice. They're not gonna get rid of him, but he
mm.
might decide he's had enough.
Could be dependent on if they win anything, couldn't it?
Well, hopefully, I think who they play. I forgot who they played in the next round. I think it's Alkmaar. I think he might be as in Alkmaar. So they should win that, and in the final, you never know. So we have to wait and see. But it was a shortened weekend because of the FA Cup games, which we don't really cover. But it's a Manchester derby, so my money hopefully is still on Man City. I think Man City will still win that game. But Saturday's game was a walkover. Today's game was. I was disappointed with Brighton, in all honesty. I expected a bit. They were the better team, but I expected a bit more. But we'll see what happens. Games coming back on Tuesday, so we're rolling through quickly,
Yep.
and we'll catch you up. Thanks again, guys, and we'll see you guys soon. Keep subscribing, keep watching, and keep sharing. Take it easy.
See you later.
Catch you later.